My dear and respected colleagues in legal profession, members of the bar, distinguished civil rights activists and defenders, my dear students and friends, in view of the recent incident involving hundreds of students at Jantar Mantar, New Delhi, I would like to share my views on the subject selective judicial intervention and the future of constitutional democracy. My friends, I am here before you today not to criticize any individual judge, nor to defend any political ideology. I stand here to defend something much larger, the constitutional promise that every citizen shall receive equal protection of law. That promise is the foundation of public confidence in the judiciary. Without public confidence, constitutional democracy cannot flourish. My friends, nearly 15 years ago at Delhi Ramlila Maidan on 5th June 2011, when the midnight police crackdown occurred at Delhi's Ramlila Maidan during Baba Ramdev's protest, the Supreme Court acted with remarkable promptness. On the very next day, it took suo motu cognizance. The court reminded the nation that police power and government power is not unlimited. It took suo motu cognizance and it declared that peaceful protest is protected by the Constitution. It ordered accountability. It granted compensation. It reaffirmed the constitutional rights do not disappear merely because governments becomes uncomfortable. That landmark judgment in Ramlila Maidan incident 2012 remains one of the finest examples of judicial courage. Today, however, my friends, many citizens are asking an uncomfortable question. Why does similar urgency appear absent when other protesters allege excessive police force? The recent incidents involving students protesting examination irregularities, NEET irregularities at Jantar Mantar, New Delhi on 20th July 2026 have generated precisely this concern. Protesters alleged excessive force. Videos circulating publicly have raised disturbing questions. Though the police action has sent shock waves across the nation and made an entire generation outraged, no constitutional court has initiated any suo motu proceedings, let alone suo motu action. When urgent hearing of petitions filed by the litigants regarding the issue was sought, the court's response was lukewarm. Perhaps the contrast in judicial approach signifies how strong the government's or executive's chokehold over it has grown over the last decade. Don't drag courts into this, was the response of the Delhi High Court on July 21st, when a petitioner sought urgent hearing of his petition against police action. And on the next day, on July 22nd, when another litigant approached the Supreme Court seeking suo motu cognizance of the police action, the Chief Justice of India expressed, "Don't waste our time and don't waste your time." When the lawyer said there are videos showing police brutality, CJI Suryakant said, "We are not interested in videos, we don't have time to watch." Certainly the court, which took suo motu cognizance of a school textbook chapter on the ground that the students might get a distorted picture about the judiciary, can very well take a solid step to prevent students being ruthlessly thrashed by the police and RAF. The issue is therefore not whether judiciary should invariably entertain every petition. Rather, it is whether similar constitutional questions are receiving similar constitutional attention. In such circumstances, my friends, nobody asks the court to prejudge the facts. We ask only one thing: ensure an independent investigation, ensure constitutional accountability, ensure equal treatment before law. That's all. The issue is not whether courts should agree with every petitioner, every litigant. The issue whether constitutional principles are applied consistently or not. The consistency builds trust. Inconsistency breeds doubt. And doubt weakens democratic institutions. Our Constitution guarantees freedom of speech, freedom of peaceful assembly, freedom to question the government authority. These rights belong to equally to every citizen, not only to those whose opinions we like, not only to those whom government approve, but to every citizen. The true test of the constitutional democracy is how it treats the dissent. History teaches us that the students have always been the conscience of democratic societies. Students participated in the freedom movement. Students resisted the emergency. Students have repeatedly demanded better governance. Sometimes they were right. Sometimes, of course, they were mistaken. But democracy allows room for both, because democracy believes in persuasion, not suppression. When young citizens began believing that peaceful protest will be answered by the police force rather than constitutional dialogue, democracy loses something precious. As lawyers, we have a special responsibility, my friends. Our loyalty is neither to the government, nor to any political ideology, nor to any political parties. Our loyalty is to the Constitution. Whenever fundamental rights appear threatened, silence is not neutrality, my friends. Silence becomes a surrender. Equally, our criticism must remain responsible. We should criticize institutions in order to strengthen them, but never to weaken them. The judiciary remains the last constitutional refuge of an ordinary citizen. That is precisely why citizens expect the highest standards of constitutional consistency from judiciary. The Supreme Court has often described itself as a sentinel on the qui vive. A sentinel must remain equally vigilant regardless of the identity of those seeking protection. The Constitution does not classify citizens according to ideology, according to political affiliations. Neither should constitutional protection. Today, I also wish to acknowledge members of the legal fraternity from the Supreme Court Bar Association and also Delhi High Court Bar Association. They have expressed concern regarding the treatment of the students by coming out and by reciting the preamble of the Constitution of India. Such engagement reflects the finest traditions of Indian war. Lawyers have always stood at forefront of the constitutional struggles, from the freedom movement to the emergency, from protecting civil liberties to defending unpopular causes. The legal profession has repeatedly demonstrated that justice cannot survive without fearless advocacy, my friends. So, my friends, our appeal today is very simple. Whenever allegations of excessive state force arise, let there be prompt judicial scrutiny. Whenever citizens allege violation of fundamental rights, let constitutional courts, judiciary examine those allegations without fear or favor. Whenever governments exercise coercive power against the citizens, let accountability follow. That is not anti-government, my friends. That is pro-constitution. Baba Sahib Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the father of Indian Constitution, warned us that constitutional morality cannot become a natural sentiment. It must be cultivated. Every institution has a role in cultivating that constitutional morality. The executive must exercise, or the government must exercise restraint. The legislature must ensure accountability. The media must report honestly. Civil society must remain vigilant, and the judiciary must remain the fearless guardian of the liberty of the citizens. If all these institutions faithfully perform their constitutional duties, democracy grows stronger. My friends, if any one of them falters, the burden upon others become even greater. Let us therefore renew our collective commitment not to any particular ideology, not to any particular religious feelings, not to any government, not to any political party, but to the Constitution of India. Let us defend as lawyers, let us defend as civil rights defenders, and as students and youth, let us defend the right to peaceful dissent. Let us defend equal justice. Let us defend constitutional accountability, because when students ask questions, democracy must answer. When citizens seek justice, the Constitution and the courts must respond. And when liberty is threatened, history expects lawyers and judges alike to stand firmly on the side of constitutional values. Thank you, my friends. Jai Bhim, Jai Bharat, Jai Constitution.